Always be up to date by logging onto our website for both local and international news. You can also know what is happening in the business and sports world. Get to know our TV programs, careers and vacancies. For more details, log on to our website www.kbc.co.ke.
Kuna mbogi ya gomba na mbogi na choma, karao ndio wawe buzima utachoma. Niko na dosi kudos kwa daro, lakini leo nitados kwa mtaro.
The song inazungumza about baba, sawa mzazi wa kiume. Why that?
Because I've also experienced the same. That's why I sang it. Like my dad went when I was 6 and he never came back. So I was hustling with my mom the whole time. We passed through a lot of troubles, but I thank God I'm here.
Zuri baby nibalike nigande kagundi, makuli baby nilishe nishibe kitumbo ndindi.
Na nipo kwenye TV Top Mashariki, aka niko na jamaa ambaye ni mzazi alafu ni mwini kazungu.
Mawazo na kukesha, subiri wacha tamaa, subiri kwa sasa haya tanifaa, subiri siwezi kupendana na wewe. Subiri wacha tamaa, subiri kwa sasa haya tanifaa, subiri siwezi kupendana na wewe. 月圆风般吹散沉香，香满青烟上。
Finish your writing exercise.
I'm doing it right now, aren't I?
Do you need more work?
No. I'll continue.
Take her away.
Yes.
Mother! Mother! Don't take away my mother! Mother!
Oh, what a liar. His Majesty comes to see her every day, yet she complains she's lonely. Whatever. Your time is almost up. Let's see if you have any tricks left.
Consort Ching was poisoned by someone.
Poisoned?
月圆风般吹散沉香，香满青烟上。抓一位当归入药汤。
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo nunca.
Well, it looks good on me. And I deserve one for being the son of Manuel Olazabal. The bartender carried him out, so it won't be long until he dies.
Just stay alert. You can't fail. Kill him yourself if you have to. Everything is ready. I've made arrangements so when you get to Chiapas, you will find a gun in one of the lockers at the airport, okay? And as soon as I find out where it is exactly, I will let you know.
I came here to finish what I started more than 30 years ago. I was going to kill Florencia right here. But now, I'll just have to kill you.
You're insane! Put the gun away! It's over, Lucrecia. It's over!
I'm not done.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Mic check, mic check. Wambiru, and our sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. Remember, you can interact with us on our social media handles at KBC Channel 1. Now, to kick us off, Sigalame High School in Busia County is counting enormous losses after fire raised down a 128 capacity dormitory on Monday evening. The school's deputy principal Samuel Kulali says the cause of the fire is still unknown with investigations underway. Let's take a look.
Fire started around 4 p.m. while students were at assembly. Efforts to put the fire off were futile, with property of unknown value being reduced to ashes.
The dome could not be salvaged at all. I think the whole of it has been raised down together with all the students' property. Nothing completely has been left. So, but no casualty has been recorded. All the students are safe.
Elsewhere, more than 200 female students have a reason to smile after Little Miss Environment in Kisumu donated sanitary towels. The event brought together students from Kisumu, Vihiga and Busia counties.
Seme has high prevalences of early pregnancies, and so we saw to start this initiative whereby we'll be reaching out to school-going children so that we can donate them with pads and innerwears just to keep them comfortable in school.
Based Dutch tycoon Herman Rowenhurst and his guard have been remanded for 21 days. Timothy Omondi, alias Mohammed Khalid, and Masi Masika are suspected to have killed Rowenhurst at his Roko apartment in Shanzu area, Mombasa County, on the 4th of June this year.
Senior Principal Magistrate David Odhiambo directed the suspect, that is Timothy Omondi, popularly known as Mohammed Khalid, who is aged 22 years, and Masi Masika, aged 33, be detained at the Bamburi and Nyali police stations as the police conclude investigations. They are accused of killing 55-year-old Mombasa-based Dutch tycoon Herman Rowenhurst and his guard at his Roko apartment in Shanzu area, Mombasa County, on the 4th of June 2021. According to investigation officer Ruben Mwaniki, the duo was smoked out from their hideout, a newly constructed mansion which was built on a newly acquired piece of land. The officer saying they were also investigating whether the funds they used in purchasing the land were the same funds stolen from the deceased house during the incident. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
And on matters health, the government has allocated some 300 million shillings to cater for medical insurance for 5,000 residents of Mandera North. The fund, which will be utilized by the National Hospital Insurance Fund, is expected to help improve universal health coverage in Mandera County. Mandera North Member of Parliament Major Bashir Abdullahi says there are plans to increase the number of beneficiaries to 8,000 in the next 1 year.
The attainment of universal health coverage remains one of the biggest targets in Kenya's development agenda. Of great concern, however, has been the slow uptake of the National Hospital Insurance cover, especially in the hinterland. In Mandera North, some 5,000 Kenyans have been enrolled into NHIF to boost the country's march to UHC.
Kwa sababu tumepata leo, tumefurahi hata mbeleni hatuna hiyo NHIF. Ndio watu wanatusaidia kidogo kidogo, pesa analeta pesa kidogo inaleta, ndio tumebeleka hospitali katika Mandera County.
Mandera NHIF manager Ahmed Yaqub says patriarchy remains one of the biggest hindrances to the attainment of UHC in the region.
Wazee kupotea ama kuacha bibi inasumbua sana hata huko kwa ofisi kwa amendment. So hakikisha majority ni wamama wakuwe principal members, ndio wanapewa, mzee anakuja chini yake na watoto.
Wakati tafanya registration hii iwe ni watu wapya, wale ambao wamekuwa registered wasiingie kwa hii list.
Counties have been urged to invest heavily in primary healthcare to boost UHC and lift the burden on the already stretched referral hospitals. Yusuf Farah reporting for Lunchtime News.
Now let's cross over from Mandera County to Kilifi County, where Devolution Chief Administrative Secretary Gideon Mungaru is on the spot for allegedly riding on multi-billion government flagship projects in the county, now claiming he is the one who initiated them. Now, according to locals, he is using the projects as a campaign tool to seek votes for his political ambitions. Speaking in Kilifi County last week, Mungaro said he was the one who lobbied for the construction of the Malindi Sala Gate Road and Barichuk Bridge.
Watamu baharini hapa nikiwa mjumbe nilianza. Kuna watu wanapiga picha wakidanganya watu hapa, nimeleta lami, sijui nimeleta nini. Hapo ndio nilianzisha barabara ambayo sasa inawekwa lami ya kutoka Malindi mpaka Watamu, na itaanza tena Gede, Mijomboni mpaka Kakuyuni pia itawekwa lami. Kwa hiyo mradi.
However, residents have disputed the claim, saying the projects were lobbied for by another member of the political divide, urging leaders to stop seeking political favor on projects they did not initiate.
Watu wanateteza wanasema walishughulikia nao walitengeza barabara na Dani Kazungu ndio yeye ndo ametengeza.
Na wengine wanajigamba wakisema kwamba hao ndio wamefanya hii barabara tuletewa huku tutengezewe. La hasha, alianza hiyo ninio kuleta huu mradi.
Kia tupate hii barabara ni mheshimiwa Dani Kazungu alipokuwa ni mbunge wa Malindi.
Locals challenge leaders to initiate development projects that will benefit the people.
Fute mradi watakaojivunia nao. Hii barabara tunajua alitengeneza ni Dani Kazungu. Hii barabara ilikuwa ina historia kubwa sana. Kwa barabara ni mbaya sana, lakini sasa tuna furaha kubwa sana.
They lauded the government for upgrading the Malindi Sala Gate Road.
Kwa ni mashimo, mvua ikinyesha maji yanajamba barabarani mpaka mapikipiki hawezi kupita, magari hawezi kupita.
Saidia kwa sababu ya biashara, na hata kama mjamzito haikawii, ukipata nini tuktuku ni nini mara moja wafika tayari hospitali na wapata matibabu.
Ulikuwa weze na Malindi unatumia muda mrefu sana, muda mwingi kwenda Malindi yani. Uweza tumia kama lisali moja kwenda Malindi, lakini sasa hizi hata 20 minutes ni nyingi, umefika town umerudi yani.
The road was constructed by the government at a cost of 4.2 billion shillings, while the Barichuk Bridge is in its final stages of construction at a cost of 2.3 billion shillings. Now, a couple in Gishogo, Kirinyaga County, says it is desperate after unsuccessfully searching for their missing kin for 6 years. 37-year-old Dennis Karaoke worked as a casual laborer at Mwea Irrigation Scheme before he went missing in 2014. Speaking from their home during a visit, Patrick Weru and his wife, Paris Wangoi, say every knock or a push of the gate brings hope and despair at the same time about their missing son.
Tafuta kila pande na pembe zote na hatujafanikiwa. Chenye naweza ambia Karaoke mahali yako. Roho za wazazi zimekaa zimeinama, analia kila wakati. Na hiyo machozi yao haiwezi kawa baraka kwake. Na baraka za mzazi ni kitu cha muhimu sana.
Ulikuwa unaongea na kila mtu na furaha yako tunahitaji na tunaimisi sana. Sasa tungekuuliza kama wazazi Urundi ndio hata furaha yetu iwe kamili.
And on education matters, parents of school-going children in Isiolo County have hit out at the Ministry of Education for what they term as poor timing in the opening of schools, with parents complaining of inadequate time to raise required school fees. Meanwhile, public schools in Kajiado are overwhelmed with a huge number of pupils reporting to schools, making it hard to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols.
Led by the Isiolo Parents Association Chairman Ismail Ali Galma, the parents reiterated that they were ill-prepared to afford school fees, partly due to the 10 days holiday, which wasn't enough time for them to fend for school fees for their children.
Tumekaa tu wiki moja holiday. Kabla wiki moja tumelipa school fees. Wazazi wamelipa school fees. Wakakilia, wengine hawakuweza kukilia, wako na madeni. Wamekaa wiki moja, shule imefunguliwa. Na saa hii pia lazima ulipe hiyo school fees. Their first time sasa. Na kama hujalipa imekuwa hiyo ni deni unadaiwa. Kwa hivyo hiyo imekuwa ni changamoto kubwa kwa wazazi wote.
Galma called upon the Ministry of Education to fast track the release of free primary and secondary education funds to schools for smooth operations. He also appealed to the county government, CDF and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund to provide bursary for needy students.
Kwa hivyo tungeliomba serikali wa release zile FBE yani free primary na secondary fund walirelease haraka iwezekanavyo. Kama serikali hawata release hiyo pesa, mimi najua watoto watafukuzwa kesho makesho kutwa.
Elsewhere, public schools in Kajiado County are grappling with social distance requirements among learners due to congestion. At the River GK Prison School, head teacher John Mutevi says this term has seen the highest number of parents seeking admission, with a registered 1,440 pupils.
The school is very high, and we have classes which have a very high enrollment. That makes it very hard to ensure that there is a strict protocol on social distancing.
He says the school can only focus on hand washing and wearing of face masks as the only safety measures against COVID-19, adding that the school has strived to admit as many people as possible to facilitate the directive by the government that all learners secure learning opportunity.
But nevertheless, with that we ensure that all our boys and girls have masks. We have enough hand washing facilities, we have enough soap, and also the class teachers ensure that everything is done in place to ensure that nothing of any kind of transmission takes on.
Residents of Narok West Sub-County have held demonstrations over the alleged grabbing of a parcel of land belonging to a school in the area. The locals say 7 acres belonging to Laila Primary School has illegally been converted into a trading center.
Parents and guardians of Laila Primary School are up in arms over the hiving off of a section of the school to create a market. The locals say those behind the move used the 10-day school holiday to grab the primary school land.
Wale watu walikuwa wanakata mashamba, walitolea shule eka 50, senda eka 50 ya shule na senda eka 50. Sasa hizi ile ya senda zimeshaenda, yote 50 zimeenda. Alafu ya shule imebakia, walichukua 7, ikabaki eka 43. Na tunasema kama watu wa community wa Laila ama Imorji kwa jumla, tunataka kusema yaka 50 ya sanda hatuwezi kubali iende.
They say they had planned to use the 7-acre parcel to construct a secondary school. They have called on the Ministry of Education to intervene in the matter and help revert the land back to the school's management.
Ndio tunalilia serikali kuambia hii ni mali ya umma na hii ni mali ya community. Sitaki watu wengine kuja kuingilia. Tayari wamechukuliwa senda na wamerudi tena kuchukua kutaka kugrab hii. Lakini hakuna ruhusa kugrab hii kitu.
Moving on, a section of legislators from Tana River County have accused Governor Dado Godana's administration for allegedly failing to address the perennial water crisis in the area. They claim funds allocated for water projects has been misappropriated, demanding a clear audit on what has been done.
Tana River County failure to resolve water shortages appears to have rattled a section of members of parliament. The leaders allege that the county's water officials have refused to address the crisis and are making a kill by hawking water.
Cheki ya kwanza ya kuanzisha maji ya madogo nimetoa kwa mfuko, si ya CDF. Wale wazee hawajakufa, wako hai, watawapa ushahidi. Matatizo haya hayaishi mpaka Godana aende. Hayaishi shida.
According to the legislators, the county government received 7 billion shillings last financial year alone, yet nothing has been done to improve the situation.
Kwa hivyo ninatoa wito kwa ofisi hiyo iamuke katika kitanda, itoe burangeti, ipatie watu ya Tana River maji. Kama huwezi kupeana maji, basi wewe ni khalas. Tafadhali budget uko nayo. Ofisi ya Senate haina pesa, nyinyi mnajua.
Kila mfanyikazi mwenye yako kwa ofisi ya Tawasco ya Madogo, kabla hajaenda transfer, awaeleze nyinyi zile illegal connection ambekuwa wao wameweka ndani ya Madogo.
In fact, Madogo ndio tunalipia maji ghali kushinda watu wengine Tana River nzima. Hola wanalipa 500,
wale kule sijui ni 300 sijui ni 100 ngapi. Hapa ni 1000 na.
This even as the Tana River Water and Sewerage Company Managing Director William Jilo said that they do not have the authority to review water charging tariffs.
Now, constructors engaged in the construction and maintenance of vocational training centers have been warned that they will pay dearly if they undertake substandard works. The Principal Secretary of Vocational and Technical Training, Margaret Mokema, who was in Ngeria Technical Institute, said it was unfortunate that the contractor did a shoddy job even after being paid millions of shillings.
The PS during the visit said she has personally had a meeting with all contractors involved with her department and guidelines have been issued on the work required.
I have put them on notice. Number one, the quality of work that we need cannot be compromised. And number two, they have to finish within the timelines that we have provided.
Mwakema said the government has an elaborate plan to construct one technical vocational center in every constituency, and at the moment there are 70 under construction.
Our youth are out there. We have 100% transition, and we need to absorb the youth that have left Form 4 and have not found themselves at the university or other colleges.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, Amomboi Otiende.
Well, that report brings us to a short break. Well, we'll be right back. Don't go too far.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi, kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Finish your writing exercise.
I'm doing it right now, aren't I?
Do you need more work?
No. I'll continue.
Take her away.
Yes.
Mother! Mother! Don't take away my mother! Mother!
Oh, what a liar. His Majesty comes to see her every day, yet she complains she's lonely. Whatever. Your time is almost up. Let's see if you have any tricks left.
Consort Ching was poisoned by someone.
Poisoned?
Ananipenda? Yes. Ananispoil? Yes. Ananifanyia kila kitu? Yes. Everything? Yes. Can we now deal with the problem, Kate?
Huzuni kuniondokea mimi ni urongo. He is my son, Kate.
Lakini amekunywa dawa zake. Hajapewa dawa? Sasa atapona vipi?
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy and heritage.
That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting and colorful bouquet.
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. Impala Platinum Holding Zimbabwe unit Zimplans plans to build 2 solar power plants with generation capacity of 185 megawatts to power its operations. The Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority said Zimplans applied to build a 105 megawatts plant at Ngezi, where it has mines and 2 concentrators, and 85 megawatts at nearby Silas, where there is a smelter and concentrator. Here are the details of this and other stories from the African continent.
Zimplans, the biggest platinum group metals producer in Zimbabwe, applied to build 2 solar plants to be located in places it has a smelter, mines and concentrators. Zimplans, which also jointly owns smaller platinum miner Mimosa Mining Company with Sibanye Stillwater, imports its power from Mozambique's Hydrocahora Bassa. Zimbabwe has experienced acute power cuts in the past, the latest in 2019 that lasted up to 18 hours a day, which affected the mining sector, the country's biggest earner in foreign currency. Currently, Zimbabwe generates 1,227 megawatts of electricity, which is below its peak demand of 1,400 megawatts. Meanwhile, German museums and art galleries are set to return 7,000 or more items taken from the Benin Kingdom in a move that experts say will make the country a leader in repatriating colonial-era objects. The federal government of Nigeria is in an advanced stage of discussions with Germany on the return of thousands of different pieces of Benin bronze back to the country. The reparation of the artifacts will go with the construction of an ultra-modern museum in Edo State, Nigeria, as well as the training of some curators. Finally, South Africa's state-owned port operator declared forced merger at the country's key container terminals following continued disruption caused by a cyber attack. Transnet SOC Limited says the declaration covers its terminals in the ports of Durban, Port Elizabeth and Cape Town because of security intrusion and sabotage that accompanied the recent upheavals in the country. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of the incident and the extent of the damage, as a manual system for moving containers on and off vessels has been adopted temporarily.
Aon PLC and Willis Towers Watson have called off a $30 billion merger that would have created the world's largest insurance broker. They said U.S. regulators' objections created unacceptable delay and uncertainty. Here are the details of these and other stories from across the globe.
The decision hailed by some as an early victory for the Biden's administration's Department of Justice, which sued last month to block it on concerns that it would create a big two in insurance broking and would eliminate competition. The chief executive of One Lloyd's of London underwriter said the news would provoke a massive sigh of relief from companies and the insurance who feared having less choice as a result of a mega deal. Aon is expected to pay Willis a $1 billion termination fee. Willis says it will boost their share repurchases by $1 billion. The all-share deal fast-tracked in March 2020 as the coronavirus pandemic swept across the globe was the latest in the long-run consolidation of the insurance broking industry. Meanwhile, shares of Chinese companies listed in the US have seen their biggest two-day fall since the 2008 financial crisis. The Nasdaq Golden Dragon China Index, which follows the 98 biggest US-listed Chinese stocks, has fallen by almost 15% in the last 2 trading sessions. The index has now dropped by more than 45% since hitting a record high in February. This has led to around $770 billion being wiped off the value of US-listed Chinese stocks in the last 5 months alone. Chinese authorities are cracking down on a wide range of online services from ride-hailing app Didi to Tencent's music streaming platforms. Finally, Amazon.com Incorporation is denying a media report saying the e-commerce giant is looking to accept Bitcoin payment by the end of the year. This sends the world's biggest cryptocurrency up as much as 14.5% before it trimmed gains to last trade 6% higher. The company's denial sent Bitcoin tumbling below $37,000, while rival coins including Ether and Litecoin fell also. The company last week posted a job opening for a digital currency and blockchain product led that started debate on whether the move could eventually lead to Amazon accepting Bitcoin as a method of payment. Brian Munyoki, Lunchtime News.
Now in the sports arena, the National Rugby Sevens team Shujaa failed to register a win in all 3 pool matches at the Tokyo Olympics after going down 12-7 to Ireland in the last group match played Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, Shujaa trounced Japan 21-7 in their classification match.
The National Rugby Sevens team had lost 19-14 to USA. Kenya finished 4th in Pool C on 3 points, while South Africa, USA and Ireland occupied the top 3 positions.
So it's something that we can still work on in the future, but we'll keep on building because it's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning and the learning that they're going to pick from here. For the team that is going to continue with Kenya Sevens, there are very tough lessons for them to pick from this tournament.
For us, where we are, is just to go back to the drawing board and look at the next phase in regards to Commonwealth Games and build up from there. We were lucky that at a point NOC came to support us, but for us we just take the positive and we build on that.
And now, still on matters of business, the profitability of banks declined to a 9-year low in 2020 on the back of the COVID-19's negative impact on the economy. This is according to the latest study by the Kenya Bankers Association that reveals the trade, manufacturing and agriculture sectors were the most affected business for bank.
The COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant containment measures carried the banking industry into challenging uncharted waters. To cushion households and enterprises against the adverse effects of the pandemic, a wide range of policies and measures were deployed to also encourage credit growth. According to the Kenya Bankers Association, the overall profitability within the banking industry reduced to a 9-year low last year after pre-tax profit declined by 30.9%. This is on the back of the COVID-19's negative impact on the economy, particularly the trade, manufacturing and agriculture sectors, where banks have restructured a majority of assets.
In the year, the banking sector weathered a challenging business environment, maintaining strong and adequate liquidity, as well as sufficient capital positions that continue to enable the sector carry the rest of the economy through the devastating effects of this pandemic.
Banks increased the loan loss provisioning by 47.5% to 198.1 billion shillings in 2020, with loan loss accommodation absorbing 45.7% of the non-performing loans compared to 40.2% in 2019.
8% growth in loan loss provisioning, which also saw at an industry level 46% of NPLs were actually absorbed directly, and in terms of the ratio of these loan loss provisions to loans, we saw an increase from 5.4% to 7.4%, again reflecting the cost of contracting loans from the perspective of the provisions that need to be taken against those loans.
Habul is optimistic that players in the banking industry will continue to review and enhance their business models, seeking to leverage on frameworks that promise efficiency gains, particularly through adoption of technology-based innovations. Caroline Jenga, full Lunchtime News.
In other news, 4 out of 10 bank transactions are done through digital platforms in the country. According to data from the Kenya Bankers Association, this has increased the number of vulnerabilities of the public to cybercrime, such as phishing, identity theft, and data breaches. The data indicates that malware and application attacks rank highly among the emerging cybersecurity challenges.
The latest report from the Communications Authority of Kenya shows that cyber threats rose by over 50% to 56.2 million incidences from 35.1 million threats reported in the previous quarter. The report identifies phishing, identity theft, and data breaches as the biggest fraud cases facing the Kenyan financial sector. The problem has been exacerbated by the emergence of high-tech online fraudsters in the country. Kenya Bankers Association says there has been a significant shift in bank customers' preferences for digital services, which, according to the association's customer satisfaction survey of 2021, stands at 43%. Though official statistics are hard to come by, the financial sector lost more than 10 billion shillings to fraudsters in the year 2021, according to financial experts. KBA and industry stakeholders have rolled out the Car Chonjo awareness campaign to enlighten bank customers on how to safeguard their transactions. CA data shows there were 21.75 million internet users in Kenya in January this year, while the internet penetration in Kenya stood at 40% in the same period. KBA says government, regulators, security agents, and the banking industry needs to continue working together to ensure secure and trusted digital connectivity in a data-driven world to protect individuals, businesses, and the economy.
Now, Kenya will start exporting avocado to South Korea in March next year. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, KEFE, says it has drafted phytosanitary standards for those keen to export to the Asian country and is urging farmers to familiarize themselves with the new regulations.
This month, during the Coffee Expo in South Korea, Industrialization and Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Mine signed an agreement with South Korea that will see Kenya start exporting avocado to the Asian nation.
We had discussion with them to be able to complete the process of pest risk analysis to allow us to export avocados, possibly from March, April next year.
The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, KEFE, says it had drafted phytosanitary standards that Kenyan exporters should meet before shipping to the new market.
What now is needed is to sensitize the farmers on what is required. There are standards which has to be met. What is the size of the banana, the thickness, the
Kenya is also keen on increasing mango export volumes to Italy after a successful export trial.
And next week on Friday, we are going to have stakeholders meeting where we are going to present the mango export protocol to our stakeholders so that they can critique it. Once it's approved, it will be out there for use by any grower who wants to export mangoes to EU.
Farmers have been encouraged to familiarize themselves with the accepted pesticides in all international markets to easily meet the phytosanitary standards. UNIDO, through a market access program, is training farmers on the best crop husbandry practice to enhance access to international markets.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin, this lunchtime news. Before we wind up, let me take a look at some of the comments coming in on our Facebook page. Rose Matilda say you've been watching us from Malindi. Amon Kiprono, you've been watching us from Kapsisio in Nandi. Evelyn Kiave, you've been watching as well. Vincent says you've been watching from Kigongo, Mtawa Majengo. Dorothy, you say you've been watching from Keroka. Well, thank you for keeping us company on Lunchtime News. My name is Jacky. Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Anwangeshi. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. Enjoy the rest of the day.
This is where it all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion,